Hey guys, I'm back, and I have a freshly delivered box from Amazon in front of me. We're going to be opening this box up in a few minutes together, taking a look at what's inside, and today we're going to be looking at another brand of knife that demonstrates that you can get good quality from a less expensive knife. And actually, I should back up for a second and say I'm basing that off of the one model from this brand that I have. You guys have seen this knife on the channel before. It's Kubey, however you want to pronounce that. This is a Chinese manufacturer that is fitting into, or I should say rather breaking, the old mold that we all sort of associate with less expensive knives from China equals crappy quality and a crappy knife. And it seems these days that a lot of Chinese manufacturers, or a handful anyway, have realized that there's a huge market for less expensive knives that are made well and out of decent materials. Not great, but decent materials. Ganzo being a prime example. And they're producing good quality knives, not great quality knives, but good quality knives for very affordable prices. So I wanted to get my hands on a few more from this company and take a look. Is this just one good knife that I've got, or is there something to this product line, you know, that maybe we should give them a little bit more attention and see? So we're going to do that today. Before we get started, we're going to work through that shout out list. Today, giving shout outs to some more supporters of the channel: Cunning Wolf, Bart McAllister, Tyler Does Stuff. You know, that's a very, I like that name. It's very descriptive, very to the point. It says exactly what it is. Tyler Does Stuff. Gerard Eichmans, Scott M, Grant M. I don't think you guys are related, are you? Probably not. And then as a special one extra adding to the list, little shout out to Nano87, who's mourning the loss of his little pet squirrel. I've lost a pet. I know that's not a fun experience. Squirrel is an interesting pet. We have a chinchilla. So thank you to those folks for supporting this channel, for watching these videos. Glad to give the shout outs that they requested, and we'll continue working through that list on the next video. I've talked about this knife before. I can't honestly remember right now if I did a whole unboxing with it or not, but I'll go ahead and put the model number and the specs and everything up there so we can you know, kind of add it to these ones we're looking at. This has been a very, very reliable knife. Things I like about this knife: the weight and balance is really good. From just sort of a looks point of view, I really like recurve blades. I think they look cool. They're not the most practical and easiest to work with when it comes to sharpening and everything, but I have really been a big fan of this knife. It's simple. I mean, you guys can see on the blade, it's not a collection queen, it's a user. Very grippy, nice G10 scale. I mean, I've had no thoughts whatsoever to redo this one. It just feels good. It's smooth, solid action. Opens nice and crisp every time, no problems. Locks up nice and tight, and you can see the lockup on this one and it's been opened a lot. I mean, it's not that old, but nice early lockup. No blade play going on there. You know, nice finish on the blade, or it was a nicer finish before I started using it. It's a good solid knife, and it came out of the box pretty sharp. My one complaint, if I was going to have one, I'd like to be able to move the clip around a little bit. I'm not a tip down kind of guy. I'm a tip up kind of guy, and I'd like to be I'd like to carry it tip up if possible, so I might do that modification myself. But besides that, just general EDC type use, there's no reason any higher priced, higher end knife would function any better than this one. And I've carried it a lot. You guys have seen it on the channel a lot. So let's see what some of its brothers and sisters are like. Now, I have 4 of them because one of them is in the higher end, and yeah, even everybody I think has a higher end. Kubey also has a higher end where some of their designs are a little bit fancier, made out of better materials and things like that. So the truth is, just even looking at these model numbers, I'm not sure which is which. But if we, again, look at the box, right? The packaging, it's a nice package. It's not a flimsy little box. It's a decent box. It's got some kind of, you know, it's got branding on it. It's made in China, but it's proudly made in China. It's not a tiny little made in China. You know, and I've given you the spiel before that packaging to me matters only because I feel like if they take the time to care about packaging, they probably take time to care about what's inside the packaging, so that's a good sign. This one's got a different box, so let's start here. Let's just take a look. So here's the name and model of what we're opening. And oh look, a box inside a box. So starting with a real subtle green to black G10 combo, which I think is really nice looking. It's tipped down, one side only for the clip. So that's a 2 out of 2 trend so far. But it's got kind of, you know, a standard EDC blade thickness going on there. For everybody who likes to complain about my nails, yes, these are my nails. No, I do not get manicures and I'm not going to, and I apologize, there's a little bit of black primer around the edges because I couldn't wash it all off. It's an epoxy-based primer from a project I was working on, so I'll just address that now. Yes, people do complain about my nails. There's also a solid G10 backspacer, so fit and finish wise, it looks really good so far. I like the G10, the black and green G10, the coloring is really nice. Ready for the ceremonial first flip? Oh, that's not cool. But a lot of them, you know, you need 1 or 2 flips to get it really smooth. And there you go. So, you also, with a lot of flippers, you got to figure out, are they push button flippers or light switch flippers? Light switch flippers, which are doing it like a light switch, or push button where you push it and the detent kind of makes a difference. So no, this is not a light switch, this is a push button, and opening the right way makes all the difference in the world. So opening it the right way, strong, slick, smooth action, solid lockup. You can see that the lockup's kind of early there. And it's very smooth. It almost doesn't make any noise traveling. It's a nice looking blade. And then large logo, right? So they're proud of what they make again. Feels good. Got good mechanics. Seen on camera, but looking inside, bronze washers, not the cheap plastic ones. And, you know, if you look at all these screws, this is a big one too, nothing is already stripped out. Everything's kind of leveled evenly. This is a well put together knife. All the G10 is mated nicely to the scales. So there's some kind of quality control put into this, you know? So it's not an expensive knife. It's a relatively cheap knife, but it's not a crappy cheap knife. It's a cheap price knife, not a cheaply made knife. One thing we'll notice is that they're a little off-center out of the box, but you know, we can live with that. It's not scraping against the liner in there. Detent, you can shake it. Wow, that's pretty, I don't know how you feel about that. You can go either way. Some people might really like that, some don't. You can shake that one open if you want. But the detent is strong so that when you push that flipper, it comes straight open for you. So I like this. I like this knife a lot. I don't like it as much as this one. This one has a little bit more weight. I like the feel of it. I like the flip action on it just a little bit better. But this one is a very close second. There you go. Motto there, they have do what you never did. I wonder if that's grammatically correct, if it should be do what you've never done, but I like where they're going with it. Texture to it, you can see right there. It's a bit heavier. This feels like more of an outdoorsy kind of knife, whereas that one would be more of an EDC. You got sort of a gear pattern backspacer. Oh, I just realized this is all a solid piece of G10. How interesting. So black textured on the surface, and then red and black G10 throughout. That is a nice look. Especially how they... See, this is nicely machined. This is functional yet artistic, you know? The G10 lines up really nicely to the steel. All the screws are even and, you know, in good shape. This one's also a little off-center. So this guy is perfectly centered. You know, wanted to get my hands on some other models to see if that was, you know, is the high quality of this one the fluke, or is you know, high quality, a thing that this knife company does regularly. I love how they took that pattern and they even put it on the blade there with machining on the blade. Oh. That is nice action. I'm going to do that again. Wow, that... You know, I mean, so those of us who are really into our knives and, you know, are knife guys, you know, when you get that knife and you want to explain how it feels when it opens up and everything, but you can't explain it, you can't put it into words, besides saying it's great. This one is one of those where you can't explain it, it's great. Really like this one. Oh, I want to take this one out. All these come the blade shape and the blade style. It's got that slight little recurve in it, just like, you know, my favorite one does here. But a really nice drop point blade. So aesthetic only, you've got that machining up on the top of the blade, which looks cool. It looks cool. Functionally, it doesn't do anything, but it looks nice. You can get a really, really good grip on this knife. Here to reach the liner lock, it is the perfect amount of depth and grip for your thumb. Play at all in any direction. Another solid knife. Here's our next one, model number. Inside the box again. Interesting packaging choice. Now, you know, online, and of course this all comes from Amazon, this one did not look like it had any coloring whatsoever. It looked like the whole scale was just black. And I think this is the same size, but it feels smaller in your hand. Actually, after holding on to this one, they all feel a little bit small. Better on this one. Same blade thickness. Feels a little bit lighter. And similar blade to the first one, but still a different shape. More of a drop point than the reverse Tonto. Finish with your satin kind of finish on the grind and then polish on the flats over there, which is a look I really like. So here's our last one. Now, I was really impressed with this one online. You can see different packaging already. No box inside a box. Bubble wrap inside a box. Oh, good. This does have that look I want. I really loved the distressed look of this titanium when I saw it online. And that's really what kind of sold me on this one. There were different models, and so this is sort of a black washed, blue anodized titanium that is made to look very distressed. It is so much lighter than the others. Now, there are two blades available for this model. One is D2 and one is AUS 8. Unfortunately, I had to get a purple titanium frame to get the D2 blade, which I don't want. But now that I think about it, maybe I'll just order another one of these in purple and swap blades and get a D2 blade in this frame, because, man, this is light. Once again, fit and finish looks great. I am really, you know, you guys know me. I always say looks come second to function. This one is centered perfectly if you take a look, but looks come second to function. But I gotta say, I love the look of this knife. That distressed, black washed, blue anodized titanium looks amazing. I'd love to know the secret on that, but everything looks really well put together. Wow, now that's a hard detent, but when that knife starts traveling, it's on bearings. The rest are not. They're on washers. And it's another one of those where, God, I can't describe it. I wish I could put it in all your hands just to let you feel it. As soon as you break the detent and it travels, it feels like just lightning opening up. It is gorgeous. I really, really like this knife, and I see it becoming my Kubey favorite, replacing this guy right here. And this is going to be a user, not a look how pretty it is in the collection. See the lockup? When you just look at it, it looks later than it is. And I'm sorry for the lighting in here is not so good, but you can see it's actually, the lockup itself on the blade is relatively early. There's no stickiness at all. This blade just floats on those bearings. I would say, and I don't know if if it's picking up there, but you have the tumbled finish versus the satin finish on the blade. This knife is beautiful. And this is the most expensive one, and this was, I think, $70. I could see Benchmade marketing something like this for, $200 or something like that, considering that it's aluminum. Now, it's not the highest, sorry, titanium, not aluminum. It's not the highest quality titanium. It's TC4, not 6 VAL, whatever. But still, it is, I've worked with this titanium before. It's solid, it's light. This is amazing, and I think I am going to go through the procedure to get one with a D2 blade and switch the AUS 8 for D2. There's nothing wrong with AUS 8. There's a lot of debate that I've been involved with about the quality of AUS 8. It's a fine stainless steel. It's mid-range. It's not low-end. If I have the option to carry a D2 knife, I'd like to, because it's a little problematic with corrosion and everything, but boy, it holds an edge really, really well. But this is, I can't get over how much I really like this knife. I should also mention, if you look at the overall width of the one that I've been carrying versus this one, for just EDC use and pocket carry and everything, this one is going to take up far less room in your pocket with a really, almost meaningless loss in blade length. What is that, 1/4 of an inch maybe? So I guess now we'll just do our quick little edge test, see how these things come out of the box. It's like razor sharp. I'm not going to shave my arm today because I have to go out and do work things tomorrow. And I already look a little bit psychotic with all these bald spots, but blade is excellent. Onto this guy. Wow. I'm kind of torn as to which one is my favorite now, because this one feels really good. Takes like no effort to you just pull that blade through. You don't even have to give it any real force. Just let it slice. Beautiful. But the blade is just as finely finished. Cut off that wall. Very light compared to the others. AUS 8, this is the only one of a different blade steel than the rest of these. I feel like I'm using a katana in one of those scenes where it just slices through the silk scarf. Beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait to eat it. I'm carrying this one in my pocket tomorrow. Awesome. And now this one's gotten a lot of EDC use. I haven't really sharpened the blade or anything, so I'm just curious. Let's see how this does paper-wise. Yeah. Okay. So after several months of continuous use, I shouldn't say continuous, but often use, we've lost that razor honed edge that this did have, like the rest of them. So obviously, we know blade maintenance and upkeep is important, but it has never failed me or given me any problems with any kind of EDC task. And I feel confident that if I wanted to put that razor's edge right back on it, I could very, very easily. Right, so obviously this is just, an unboxing and a mini review, right? So all we know is how they are right out of the box. I am going to carry this guy extensively myself and test it out. I am kind of in love with this. This is BattleBox Knife of the Month material, as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to send these to some knife guys that I know. Send one out to someone else with another YouTube channel, get his take on it, see what he thinks of it. Have some friends of mine carry these two around for a little bit and give me their opinions on it too. I think Kubey has the potential to be a really good low-cost brand. So yeah, they're not going to replace the expensive stuff that, some people might carry. But when you want just something dependable, but that you're not going to feel too bad if it gets lost or wrecked or destroyed, if you want one that you can use into the ground, this might be a really good option. And if you're not someone who's lucky enough, to be able to afford some of the really high-end stuff, these are a great option. I swear by this knife. Just like I'm always talking about the Firebird by Ganzo line. This guy has been dropped, has been accidentally kicked across a floor, This guy has been used over and over and over. Yeah, the blade is losing some of its razor sharpness, but I can put that back on in a couple minutes with, you know, some diamond rods. This is a brand that doesn't break the bank, but makes knives well. You know, they give you a good value for your money. So they kind of get my thumbs up, my seal of approval. I'm curious to see what you guys think of the unboxing, of the designs, of the materials, and the prices, you know, that I've listed for what you get. Anybody has any first-hand experience with the brand, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of these ends up in the big old giveaway bucket. Okay, anyway, check them out. Look for them on Amazon, or I'm sure some other retailers, but nice quality for your money. So as always, appreciate you guys, really do, and I'll be back in real soon.